Welcome to Let's Make Waves podcast. I'm Rana Al-Basri Mawad, and I believe that we're all here to make waves. I created this podcast to help you unlock your potential by sharing with you tools, resources, and strategies to help you build and grow your business. So if you're looking to build your brand, gain that confidence and knowledge, content and marketing strategies, find your professional voice, attract those raving customers, and create the professional authority for better business opportunities, then you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Great to have you here once again for another edition and another episode of my podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here and to have this platform to connect with you all. So thank you. Today's episode is really fun. I love this topic. I love content because when you're building your brand, when you're building your influence, content is the way that you share your voice, you share your vision, you connect, you serve, you help, and it's also a way for you to sell. So it is a tool we all use to build our image and our reputation and our status for the goal of brand building and also to support and grow our business. Content comes in the center of all of this. It's important and it's something that we can either find joy in making or it could be a complete nightmare. And if you're nodding your head, I know sometimes content creation is a nightmare, but that's why we're here today. I'll share with you some stuff that I believe that it can support you to, turn this around. Now, this is not the first time that I talk about content on my podcast. And trust me, it won't be the last because this is a big deal. And there will always be something to highlight and to share when it comes to it. So today, I wanted to tackle a specific question. Is your content right for your business? And this might sound like a tough question. Maybe it is, but I think the beauty about this whole topic is that we all need to do some kind of testing on the type and the format of the content that we share until we find what works for us and for our business and what resonates with our audience or potential clients. You might be using few strategies that have been working for you, but there will always be something new coming up. So once in a while, you will need to go back, test new formats and new ways to connect, and maybe add that to the content toolbox that you are slowly building. Okay, so for us to tackle this question, I always like to take a step back and explain some of the fundamentals so we're all on the same page. If you've listened to my podcast before, you know that I'd like to start from the beginning and then build up from there. So, what is content? And I said this before, I feel that most people believe that content is information, when in fact, content consists of 4 elements: information, context, medium, and form. So, when all of these elements are together, we land up with good content. And each element means, let me go through them. Information is the actual message. What is it? Is it practical message? Is it entertaining? Is it informative? Is it a combination? And all of that. Context is, what is this information supposed to do? Why is this information being shared? The form is the shape of that information. So is it text, audio, video, visual, graphics? And medium is which channel or maybe several channels that you've chosen for this information to be published. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you from the beginning, because by always remembering these four elements, we remind ourselves to make sure that we put we tick all the boxes when it comes to these 4 elements when we are content creating, because together, every one of those elements is important. If one of them is missing, the actual content becomes lacking and it does not deliver on its ultimate intent. So think of it this way. If you have information without context, so information without the context of why should this information, be published or what should it accomplish, then it's just noise. And this is what we see a lot of it on social media, posts without purpose. There's no reason for people to read it. There's no reason for them to digest that kind of information because they don't know of the context. Why is this information being shared? What is the purpose? Another example is if you have information and you have context, but you lack the form. So you're not using the right form for that type of information or context. And that means you're creating content that might lose the interest and the attention of the audience. You're basically risking losing connection. And this is why understanding these elements will empower you and empower your message. So I always advise to remember these elements when you're working on your content strategy. Okay, now that we're all on the same page, as entrepreneurs building our brand, building our influence in this digital world, creating content and sharing it is like our megaphone. It's our marketing to build the brand that we want for ourselves and for our business. To go back to today's question, is your content right for your business? You will know if a piece of content is resonating with your audience because there will be clear indications like engagement, connection, emails. They can take you up on an offer or download your freebie. They sign up for your newsletter. That's when you know that you are creating the right content for your business. So, how do you do that? How do you ensure that you are creating the right content? And this happens using the following 3 steps. But before I start, I want to share with you that I've put together a list of 85 types and formats of content. It's a very easy list that you can download by clicking in the show notes or on ranamawad.com/15. Now, this list, plus the 3 steps that I'll share with you, will help you find the right type and the right format that is suitable for you to use and to build your brand. So all you have to do is just go to ranamawad.com/15, and you just download it. Okay, let's get back to the 3 steps. What will help you make sure that you can create the right content for your business? Okay, so step 1 is you need to know what type of content you can commit to creating regularly and consistently. So you know your capabilities, you know what you're comfortable to do, and you know what you're able to do consistently. At the same time, you need to keep in mind that your content type is the right type for your business, and it is also the right type for your audience to enjoy to use. So what I'm trying to say is that it is a balance of these 3 factors. What content type you can commit to create consistently, what content type is suitable for your business and your brand, and what content type is interesting for your audience. And it might sound or it might seem like it's a hard balance to have. It is not that difficult as much as it sounds. And the list that is available for you to download will help you in doing this step. So let me give you an example just to make it clear. Let's say you're a mindset coach. You know that you can commit to consistently create content in the form of pictures. So pictures are much more comfortable for you to create than, let's say, long written types of content like blogs or articles. And it is easier for you to be consistent versus video. Video you can do once in a while, but images are the best format. So that type of content is also something that is interesting for your audience. They like to receive this kind of content, short captions, easy to digest, versus the long blog posts or articles. So they would enjoy your videos, but if you make a balance between that and between the photos, they're fine. And they are okay with that combination. So this type of content is good for your business because you can share this content on social media, and then you can drive your audience to your website where they can go deeper into that topic or sign up for a free consultation. And that example clears the whole point. The mindset coach has found a combination of content type that is suitable for them, suitable for the brand. It supports the business, and it is interesting for their audience. All right, so that was step 1. Identify the content type you can commit to create consistently. The second step that I want you to consider is creating content buckets. And what I mean by buckets is identifying 3 to 5 overarching topics that will be suitable for you to share and that is suitable for you to build your brand with. And the reason why I say 3 to 5 buckets is because we don't want to overwhelm the audience with a flood of different types and sorts of content that can create confusion or dilute the message. So that will be like a negative impact on brand building. Now, ideally, let's say if you choose 3 buckets, ideally the majority or 50% of your content should be based on about your business and the information bucket. Another 10 to 20% will be an inspirational bucket, and another 10 to 20% will be the personal bucket. So to put this in an example, let's say you are a chef. So 50% of your content will come from the brand or information bucket, which means that more than half of the total content that you're sharing during that month or that quarter, you are creating content that is based on you as a chef and information and things that you share. So it's recipes, cooking videos, how to, new dishes, tips on spices, seasonal food, and all of that. The second bucket, you'll have 10 to 20%. So 10 to 20% of your total content for that quarter will come from the inspirational bucket. So it will be content such as healthy habits, information about the importance of certain ingredients or the background of certain dishes or the relationship with food, superfoods and all of that. And the final 10 to 20%, it's coming from the personal bucket. And so you can share things like what you've cooked at home this weekend. You share, if it's a chef, they have a vegetable garden, they grow organic fruits, so they share that. Share tips about farmers market, dishes that you've created with the family, images of your pet, and all of that. Now, for the final bucket, which is the personal bucket, it is up to you on how much you want to share. There are no rules. Nobody says that if you share more of your personal stuff, it's better. Share whatever is comfortable for you. But having a few content pieces from this bucket will make you relatable and people will see the human behind the brand. I also want to point out that content buckets it's a great tool that help you know what to create and what to plan ahead of time. So it will inspire you to think of topics for each bucket, new angles and new ways to express your brand and to express yourself. It will make the creation phase much more organized and manageable because you'll know which bucket that needs filling. All right? So the final, the final step is leaning into data and monitoring the numbers. And it is really important that we really start getting much more familiar with analytics because it gives us the data that, that can help us understand what worked and what didn't, what was interesting and shareable and what did not create that much impact. This kind of analysis will help do the necessary tweaks and the necessary changes, to continue to build and to grow the content library. So your content strategy must be based on content that is translating your objectives, your business goals, and who you are. And these 3 steps that I've just shared with you will help you do that. And as I mentioned, as a supporting document, please don't forget to download the list of 85 types and formats of content. You can download it. It's very easy. It's on my show notes or ranamawad.com/15. Okay, there you have it. How to know if your content is right for your business. The points I shared today are actionable steps you can implement immediately into your business and your strategy and start seeing its effects on your influence and your messaging. I know that creating a nice, thoughtful, informative, or funny or artistic kind of content is not easy. I know that sometimes you might sit in front of your computer and just don't know what to create or what to share with your audience. And this is what this episode is all about. So I hope that this episode and the free download list will help you start getting organized and intentional in your content creation. So that brings us to the end of this week's episode. As always, I'd love to hear what you think. So let's start the discussion in the comments. It's in my show notes, renamawad.com/15. Or better enough, maybe you can leave me a review. If you think I deserve a 5 stars, that would be great. Let's connect on social media. I'm very active on Instagram. My handle is @rana.mawad. So thank you so much once again for tuning in. I can't wait to touch base with you again next week. Till then, have a great week and take care.